What's up, good people? Christian Allaire from Christian Allaire Yoga here with Caroleena. Say hello, Caroleena.
Hello.
Caroleena is a yogini, a yogi, a student, and also a teacher at Yoga Tribe here in Huntington Beach, and we're here to film some practice. So we hope you enjoy this practice. This would be a power Vinyasa flow, and my plan is no plan, so roughly 60 minutes-ish. We'll see how that goes, but we're going to begin. So thank you so much for tuning in. Caroleena, please position yourself in the child's pose, the pose of the child. So bring the knees nice and wide, soften the belly, and just begin to let the breath permeate. Let the nervous system begin to settle. And just feel the relaxation that the breath brings to the pose. Now from here, take your arms a little further out in front of you. Come up on the finger pads, lifting up on the palms. The arm bones begin to lift. You'll see Caroleena has her hips reaching towards the heels. Fingers are stretching out in front, so an axial extension. And now, Caroleena, start to draw the shoulder blades in towards one another, so we have some shoulder integration starting to occur. We want to start to fire up a little bit of Uddiyana Bandha, so pull in the pit of the belly into the spine, starts to activate. And keep that breath moving free and easy. Expansion of the rib cage. The intercostals start to get a little bit of a stretch here. And then set the forearms down. Relax. Take a nice deep inhale. And then softly exhale. And then walk the hands out to the right side. Even take the hands off the mat onto the floor. So what's occurring here is a little bit of compression on the right side body and some more stretching on the left side ribs. Keeping the left hip onto the heel, so a lot of times people that are really tight, Caroleena is very flexible in many poses, especially child's pose, but you'll notice the hip resides on the heel, it's not lifting up. So if your hip gets up off the heel, just don't take your hands out any further. Really nice, Caroleena. Bring your hands out back in front of you, give a little bit of a stretch, a little bit of belly tug, and then over to the left side, maybe hands off the mat onto the rug. So we're working with our tools of breath, our tools of tapas, right? We start to develop some heat, some ujjayi breath. We'll constrict the throat, which will bring some heat internally. With the friction, of course, we have the heat in the room cooking. And once we start to move, we'll start to incorporate the tools of flow and drishti, right? The where you look, your concentration. Okay, awesome. Bring your hands back out in front of you. Tuck the toes for downward facing dog pose. Now, as the hips rise, start to pedal the feet back and forth, move it around. As many of you folks know, I'm a stickler for hands. So with the fingers, you can keep pedaling out. It's up to you, Caroleena, however you feel. Are your hands starting to slip a little bit? Do we need to get some water on there?
We're good.
Okay, cool. So with the fingers, you want them nice and wide, like spokes on a wheel, like starfish hands. You want to press through the finger pads. The first knuckle of the index, the first knuckle of the thumb, and the middle finger, the triads of the fingers, you're pressing through. And then start to pull the pit of the belly in, that's bandha. And we have the heels in line with tailbone. You have shoulder bones in line with wrist bones, and then you have that shape, that inverted V shape. Okay, take a deep breath in, and empty out. And then bring the hands to the feet for Ragdoll Pose at the back of the mat. This portion of the class is about integration, so integrating from the life outside of the room, outside of the mat, into your physical practice, the asana. You see Caroleena has her elbows, his knees are soft, the lower part of the belly is lying upon the upper thigh so that you're closing the gap at the hip crease. All four corner points of the feet are rooted down, energetic through the insides of the legs. Beautiful. And drop the hands to the floor. And then slowly, bone by bone, just roll up to mountain pose. You're just going to take a nice long stretch. So Utkatasana, you root to the floor, you rise up, take the arms up, big stretch, reach up, breathe in, and bow forward. So we say yogi bow, soften the knees, come back to down dog. Walk the fingers to the top of the mat, and there you are, back to dog pose. Okay, 3 breaths. Take a nice deep inhale. Empty out. Second breath. And empty out. Third round, breathe in. And let that go. And walk to the top of the mat. And Ragdoll Pose, top of the mat. So we're going to rinse and repeat here. So feet hip width, hands to elbows. Or an option for you folks practicing at home is bring the backs of the hands to the floor. You don't have to, but there are options. Feel free to take it. If you have blocks at home, then you use your blocks in order to create a little more space, so not so much difficulty. Awesome. So Caroleena, slowly start to come back up to mountain pose. Your second mountain for this practice. Taking the arms up to the sky, let's reach up, the front of the pelvis lifts, you root to rise, breathe in and bow forward, fingers to the floor. At the bottom, tuck the chin for Uddiyana Bandha, Jalandhara. Now come to a half lift and bring the hands to the shins. You're growing long, flat spine, hold here, notice tail in line with crown of the head. Okay, bow forward, chin, chest, knees soften, and we step back to high plank. It's a high push-up. So you'll notice that a couple of points of alignment or heels over the toes, contraction of quadriceps, so we start to activate through the legs, pushing the floor away. You have shoulders over wrists, elbows stacked, or even a little bit further forward. That's fine too. Take a full breath in, Caroleena, and then slowly lower down. Going to set up for a back bend. We're still warming up. So we untuck the toes, bring the feet close in, and then lift the heart. You want to lift up. Energetically, you're pulling the elbows along the rib cage and towards the back of that, back towards the hips. And release, relax. Ooh, beautiful. Again, lift. Breathe in. And chin to the chest. Breathe out. A little higher on this Cobra, so come up a little higher. Feel free to push the hands into the floor, or an option is to float the hands up off the floor, which will activate the spine a little more. And let the chin fall, breath out, and then come back to child's pose. Okay, in this wisdom pose, we call this wisdom pose sometimes. Caroleena, bring your knees closer together. I'm going to give you all an option at home, and then bring the hands towards your heels. It's another option for wisdom pose. The hands are resting, palms are facing up. You'll notice it rotates the shoulders differently. This is a great modification of child's pose if your wrists have been smoked because you're doing chaturangas all day long. Okay, bring your hands back out in front. Okay, let's bring ourselves to tabletop pose. So from tabletop, shoulders over wrists, and then take a look up to the sky for cow facing. Breathe in, you notice the tailbone lifts. Breathe in, look up, and exhale, cat pose, cat pose. Pulling in through core, floor to core, and then inhale, change. Breathe in, looking at the ceiling, breathe in, and then round, hollow chin, chest. Spine to neutral. So spine neutral means it's flat, right? So there's some core activity going on here. Let's send your right leg back and left arm forward, okay? Notice the right hip point's facing down, toes on the right side are flexing, left palm is facing towards the right side of the room. Here, let me see if you can pull your pit of your belly in and up just a little bit, maybe overemphasize it for those nice folks at home. Notice this removes some of the sway out of the back, and go ahead 3 times elbow to knee at your own pace. At our own pace. Using core, using stability, stretching the spine, it's activation of core. And then when you are done, you can just set the left hand and the right foot back down. And if you need to go to child's pose, you could go to child's pose. This will help relax the spine. If you're feeling good, that's good. Then we'll go to the other side. Kick it back left, extend it through right. And then when you're ready, Caroleena, do it and do it well. On the second one, Caroleena, tuck your chin. And extend. On the third one, really tuck your chin. Ooh, it makes it more challenging. Kick it back. Okay, awesome work. Back to tabletop pose, and then to downward facing dog, and then pedal out as necessary. Did that jack your back up? Did it make you? Nope. See, that kind of thing would, because, you know, I'm an older goat, would hurt me a little bit. So I got to take my time. So if that's you at home, and your body needs a little extra time, we'll take the extra time. Awesome work. So from here, Caroleena, just walk to the top of the mat. We're going to start to flow a little bit here, feet together, and then halfway lift. A deep inhale, exhale, fold. We rise up to the sky, mountain pose. Now hook the thumbs at the top. The thumbs at the top. Lean back. So you'll notice it's an axial extension. She's lifting up from floor to core. Front of the pelvis lifts up through the sky and bow forward. Soften the knees on the descent. We'll come into a flat back, halfway lift. Inhale, step back, high plank. Take a full breath here, and then pitch forward for chaturanga. So she pitches forward, then lower down, halfway, and then it's an upward dog. So arm bones pull back, gaze can either look forward or up. It's up to the yogi, and then we'll back to down dog, roll it over the tootsies. 3 breaths. Deep inhale, empty out. Deep inhale, empty out. Third round, deep inhale, and let it go, and simply walk forward, top of the mat. It's feet to hands, it's hands to shins for halfway lift. Breath in, and bow forward, and rise up. Mountain pose, palms to touch, and as soon as they touch, bow forward. Touch it. And from here, it's a halfway lift. And it's an exhale to chaturanga. It's a step or float, right? Depending on where you are in your warm-up. Back bend, lift up, try to keep the thighs up off the mat, and then downward facing dog, breathing out. So we'll do 3 more breaths, but on the third round, Caroleena will come to the toes and we'll float. So here we go, Caroleena. Inhale, empty out. Inhale, empty out. Okay, here we go. Rise to the toes, breathe in. Bend the knees, step, float, or jump, top of the mat. Come to a long spine, yogi bow, root to rise, mountain pose, inhale. Exhale, fold you forward, touch the floor. Inhale to a halfway lift, plant the palms, chaturanga, low. Beautiful work. Upward dog, breathing in. Come to downward dog, breathe out. And let's take the right leg up. And then bring the knee to the nose. Suck it in deep, that's the air. Kick it back to the sky. Step the right foot to the right thumb, left knee to the floor, modified lunge. Arms are extending. So you notice Caroleena could bend into the right knee and have the knee travel past the ankle. Not necessary. Caroleena's toes are tucked on the left side. Could be flat foot, could tuck it, doesn't really matter. It's up to you. Take a nice deep breath in and sit the hands down, exhale, hips back for half splits. Ideally, in terms of alignment, left hip is over the knee. Some yogis will come back and sit on, right? It's going to change the dynamics of the stretch, so it's up to you. To intensify, flex the toes towards the nose. To decelerate, just let the toes relax a little bit. Okay, here we go, girl. Bend into the knee, curl the left toes, step forward, left foot to right. Top of the mat, she takes a halfway lift. Breath in, exhale, bow. Beautiful. Arms to the sky, take your arms to the sky, breathe in. Exhale, fold forward, breathe out. Roll long, halfway up. Exhale to chaturanga, low plank. Inhale, upward dog, draws the shoulder bones back, and then downward dog, breath flows out. And let's do the left side. Take the left leg up off the floor, knee to the nose, comes in, take it back to the 3, and step it through, left foot, right knee sets, and arms to the sky. The further your right knee is back, and the further your left knee sinks forward, you're going to get the front of the hip, the psoas muscle, to get a little bit of a stretch. Arm bones alongside the ears so they're straightening up towards the sky. Pinkies in towards one another is going to get the shoulders to integrate. Okay, take a full breath in. Set the hands down. Shift the hips back for a little hamstring stretch on your left side. Okay, we'll move in 3, in 2, And begin to shift forward, curl the toes. Let's step to the top of the mat. Big breath, half up, bow in. Let's come to chair pose, so Utkatasana, our first chair posture. Plugging the heels into the floor, you lift the toes. You shift the shins backwards, which is going to sit the butt back further. Okay, your core pulls into the spine, the arms lift up. Take a breath in, Caroleena, and fold forward. Touch the floor, lift the hips. Inhale to halfway lift, and exhale to chaturanga, low plank. Inhale to up, exhale to down dog. Set the right leg up, open the hip. This time we'll just open the hip. If you would like to make some circles with the knee or the ankle joint, totally up to you. Okay, let's kick it back, re-extend, and shift forward, right knee, left tricep. We introduce our first twist. Try to kick your hips up a little more. Awesome. Right leg to the sky. Let's come to high lunge. Right foot steps forward. High lunge with the left heel stays up. So we presence where the heel is in line or in relation to the back foot. So on the first go around, many people need to dip the knee down, no problem. When you dip the knee down, the pelvis will shift forward. There's less compression in the low back. Really nice. Take a full breath in and then come to warrior two. Notice high lunge or crescent lunge is very similar to warrior two. Really the difference is what's happening with the back foot and the facing of the hips. Awesome work. Just take a deep breath in, sink a little deeper into the knee. We'll do that one more time. Breath in, sink a little deeper into the knee. Now get ready, breathe in, and then chaturanga, low plank. Hands to the floor, sends the right leg back, low push-up. Upward dog, breath in, and down dog. So wait and do 3 breaths here just to give it a little break. Deep inhale. Empty out. Deep inhale. Empty out. Really plug into your fingers. Breath in. And let that go. Okay, let's do the left side. Left leg comes off the floor. Hip opens up. So stay here for a second. So the right hip slips underneath the higher the left hip goes. So this hip is rising up and spinning open, but the shoulders are squaring. So it's hard to do. She's dropping the left armpit down, lifting up the right armpit, and then relaxing the head. Awesome. Left knee to right tricep. She goes to plank and then twists, keeping the hips up, and then kick it back to the sky. Crescent pose. Left foot forward, root down, rise up. Extending up through fingertips, so lots of action, like there's fire coming out the fingertips, shoulder integration. The ribs are, teachers say knit the rib cage forward. It's a little strange, but you have the V-notch. Your rib cage is actually coming forward to close the rib cage, which ends up broadening the back, right? It's tough to see visually. It's more of a nuance. Really nice. Take a breath in, open up to 2. The second warrior, Virabhadrasana 2. So from your foundation in 2, heel and arch, front of the pelvis lifts, the tailbone descends and removes some of the compression in the low back. Active through the arms, relaxing through the shoulders. Okay, 2 breaths here. Caroleena, deep in, and then sink a little deeper. We'll do that one more round in, and then sink a little deeper. Okay, get ready, breathe in, and then hands down. Chaturanga, low plank. Make your way through, up dog. We're going to come back to down dog, breathing out. Okay, we're going to move right out of the gate. So come to your toes, rise, bend the knees, look forward, step, float, or fly. Halfway lift, breathing in, exhale, bow. Chair pose, it's 1 breath in, and fold. We flow to half lift, inhale, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog, exhale, down dog. 3 breaths. Doing okay? Okay. Breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. 3rd round of breath in, empty out. Okay, let's take your right leg off the floor, opening up the hip, and this is it. Flip the dog, take it on over. So she sets the foot down. Okay, I'll fix the mat for you if you need to, because that's my thing. Okay, if you can bring the left shoulder a little closer over the arm, over the wrist, right? So there's lots of angle here. You're working towards moving, so there's less angle. And reflip Caroleena. Take your right leg up and back to the sky. Let's step to high lunge. Right foot. We'll take one breath to get the arms to rise and open up to 2. Warrior 2. Okay. Notice how deep in the hips she is. It's really, really a beautiful pose. Okay, keep your legs, warrior 2. Raise the arms above the head. So now the spine is lengthening. So really extending up. Now look down your back leg and reverse the warrior. Left hand drops down. This right arm comes up and then bow and bow your way towards the back. Awesome. And beautiful. Side angle lunge. You can set the forearm down onto the thigh or working your right hand towards the inside. 2 arms. You'll notice we're working towards wrists, elbow, shoulder, shoulder, and hand. So you're looking for that symmetry. We have triangle shapes, so there's architecture built into the pose. Okay, easy does it to runner's lunge. Just set the hands down, and it just takes a little bit of a rest here. Step forward, left foot meets the right. We'll come to a half lift, intake of air. Bow in, let's come to mountain pose. So root to rise, reach, breathe in. Yogi bow, forward, and we're going to release you right into chair pose. Right back in a chair. We're going to chair twist to the right side. So towards this beautiful sailing scene, finding our inner ocean, breath that is, breathe. Okay, look at your toes, take a breath in, and then fold, release. Halfway lift, breathe in. Exhale to chaturanga, breathe out. Awesome work. Upward dog, she takes a breath. Downward dog, she releases out. And we'll give her a 3 breath count here. Inhale, empty out. Inhale, empty out. And 3rd round of breath. Deep and free. And then exhale. And we'll take the left leg off the floor. It's time to open up the hip on this side. So spinning this time, right hip is coming up and over. When you're ready, flip it over, set the toe down, arm extends. From the floor, pushing into the floor, the hips drive up. And then you start to spin the shoulder underneath. So you're looking for shoulder integration. When the shoulders integrate, you can get the chest to open up so your heart is blooming up to the sky. And release. Hand to the floor, leg to the sky. Lift. Step forward, high lunge. Remember, it's 1 breath in, and then we open up to 2. Warrior deuce, and we remain here for 2 to 3 breaths, settling in. Let me talk about Sthira Asanam, balanced action, effort, and ease. Your pose. Ease into the left knee, maximum effort in the back leg. Ease in the shoulders, they release, maximum effort straightening the arms out. Really nice. Keep the legs, raise the arms please. And then you look down the back leg, that's drishti, and then reversing the warrior. Drishti, looking down the leg, free and easy into the left knee, so tracking it forward over the ankle. Okay, side angle, take your side angle lunge, dipping down, arm is up. A really deep breath in and high lunge. Okay? That was a hard transition, wasn't it? Okay? So now from here, in 3, you're going to step to the chair. 3, 2, 1. Right foot meets the left. Not a nice person. Full breath. Hands to the heart and prayer twist towards the camera. Anchor in. Turn open. So in this view, you can see Caroleena's elbows are stacked using palms, right? So they're up and down. Each breath, you get axial extension, and the exhale, you're turning open, which theoretically the thumbs start to align along the central channel or the Sushumna channel. Okay? Look at your toes and release. Fold, split the feet apart. Let's do a little relaxation here. Palms, our fingers to toes. All right, so grab onto the tootsies, and then halfway lift, breathe in, and yogi bow. Chin, chest, fold. One of the things I notice in students that, not only in students, but in my own body, that the hips will come back and the weight plugs into the heels, Whereas you want to learn to center the gravity as best you can directly over the ankles. So you'll notice if you're going forward, you're going to be forced to grip the toes. When you grip the toes, you're going to end up with a Charlie horse in your butt cheek. No good there. Weight into the heels, it's going to cause another contraction, right? That's not creating balance, right? We want to monitor our effort and ease, and you want to be mindful that you're here to manage energy and not expend it all. Caroleena, how are you feeling about a yogi squat? Let's do that. Yogi squat. So she releases coming into yogi squat. Okay, we're going to be setting you up for bakasana, crow in a second or so. So bakasana, or excuse me, yogi squat, some people's knees get bollocksed up or hurts their knees if the toes come out too far. So you got to play around with that. Some people cannot get their heels on the floor, and that's no problem either. You just work with where you are in the moment, in the space. You don't want to force, you don't want to jam, but you want to breathe through intensity. All right, girl, what do you think? Hands to the floor for crow pose. Want me to do it with you? This would be my first pose of the class. Okay, we lift up, lift your chin, keep lifting up through the heels, looking forward. Okay, we're going to float back in 3, in 2, and chaturanga, low, upward dog, lift, and we come back to down dog, breath out. Super job. Now walk the hands to the back of the mat, step the palms underneath for a gorilla pose. Beautiful. So gorilla pose is just simply a deeper expression of the fingers to toes, forward fold type pose. Some people can go right to the hands underneath the feet. I love to bring the weight into the toes on this one and then push the toes into the wrist creases, right? You start to activate the synovial fluid in the wrist joints. At least that's what I think, and I believe it. All right, you can release now, Caroleena. We'll come back to downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Deep inhale. Empty out. Deep inhale. Empty out. Third round, breath in. Empty out. Okay, let's take the right leg off the floor again. Here we go, we're going to flow. Bring the right knee to the right shoulder. Give it a little tippity tap. Kick it back, 3-legged dog, and step through high lunge, right foot. Okay, arms are extended up. Okay, notice the arms are next to the ears. We're really feeling that activation from the core and from the floor, from the earth element. You're pulling in. Drishti is straight forward. Awesome work. Take a deep breath in, reach up, and then power lunge. Take the hands back, and let's pause here for a second. Palms are facing down. Shoulders are pulling into the back. The core is engaged and pulling up. Back leg is really firm, and all 4 corner points of the right foot are into the floor. It's a beautiful pose. Come back to high lunge. Raise the arms. Now we'll do crescent lunge twist. Hands to the heart center, and we twist it open to the right. So again, hands are stacked. Caroleena won't keep you here too long. You'll notice that if your feet placement for crescent, if it's not hip width, if you're standing on the slack line, this is going to be really hard, right? You're really going to expend a ton of energy. So foot placement is crucial here. Come back to high lunge, take that fat breath in, reach up. And then glide to 2, warrior 2, breath out. And then inhale to reverse. And we'll move into extended side angle. I wonder if you try a half bind in your world. Look at that. Look at you. Awesome work. So now with the finger into the inner right thigh, can you bring your hand? Let's try to bring that inside there. Then rest the hand. Awesome. Keep driving. So here the right knee is into the back of the right tricep with activation here. So you're peeling open the hip. The shoulders peeling up. The head's turned up. Okay, you can release the hand to the sky like you're free and willy. And then with the hand on the block, can you move into balancing half move? Take your arm up, take a big old breath in, and then vertical splits. Left hand down, kick your left leg up to the sky. Option to open up the hip or option to keep the hip leveled off. Really nice work. Lifting up, breathing, extending. In 3, I'm going to have you drop into a forward fold. 3, 2, 1, left foot to the floor. Come into Malasana squat, down into a Yogi Squat. Let's just take your elbows into the knees. You're prying the knees apart, but with breath, with gentleness. Crown of the head is extending, tailbone is down. Just take a nice big breath in, and on the exhale, Caroleena, place the hands on the floor, lift the hips, point the toes to 12, and they'll stem back to down dog. Boom. 3 breaths, and we're going to start to move again. So here we go. Breathe in, breathe out. Deep breath in, free and easy. Empty out. 3rd round, breath in. Empty out. Okay, let's kick the left leg back and up to the sky. You're going to step it through to high lunge. Left foot's going to step, arms are going to extend. She takes a nice big breath in. Power lunge, sweep it back. Extend through the crown, through the heel. Take the arms back up, sky. Reach, crescent, and hands to the heart center. Float them, and then turn open, revolve. Palms to press, heart to lift, and turn. Drishti to the sky, or of course if it jacks up your neck, don't do. You want to start to presence where the right heel is. Okay, release, high lunge, big breath in. Glide to warrior deuce, open to the second warrior. And then we'll take a reversing of the warrior, breathing in. And extended side angle, taking it down. Option, half bind. If you're at home, option is a full bind. Totally up to you. All right, if you're feeling gangster-like, free the right arm and step it into half moon. If you need your rectangle of hope, go ahead and grab a hold. Presencing where the heel is, kicking back, kicking back. So as I explain it sometimes, it's like taking your fingers and stick it into an electrical socket and you go out in all different directions. So the more you organize to center line, and from that center line you express outward. Okay, Caroleena, release into vertical splits. Take the right leg up, kicking it up, kicking it up, kicking it up. And feel free to step back to down dog. Right foot steps, left foot steps, and now I think we need to do our balancing if I'm not right, if I'm not correct. Let's bring your hands to your feet, and then bring your feet together, and then roll it up, mountain pose. Okay, reach the arms up, and then float the hands to the heart center. Since we did have a little technical snafu, this will be the second set that Caroleena does, so give her a little break if she's a little wobbly, right? A little technical difficulty. Okay, we do Tulandandasana first, and then we move on to dancer's pose. So Caroleena, take your arms up, reach up, and then steeple grip, crossing the thumbs, step out on the right foot. Paralleling the torso, dropping the left hip down, pushing into the right big toe mound. Beautiful. Release. Left foot comes down. Now we move to dancer's pose. Drop the right hand down. Keep the left paw lifted up. And once she gets into first position, knees come together, and then it's a reach and a kick. A reach and a kick. Contraction through core. Contraction through left quadricep. Drishti over the fingers. Reaching. 3, 2, and release. Right foot hits the floor. Right arm to the sky. Then we steeple grip, and when you're ready, Caroleena, step out. And release. Right foot to the floor, and keep the right arm up. We drop the left hand down, capturing the inside of the left foot, and then take a dance. And beautiful. Release. Left foot to the floor. Let's float the arms back up to the sky. Long spine. Breathe in. Hands to the heart center. Breathe out. Okay, let's turn and face the camera. Once again, this should be what, the second round of tree pose. So tree, if you'd like, how about this, Caroleena? Let's step back to make it easier, come onto the floor. Right? Okay, right foot comes up into your grill as high as you can. And then once you get the foot, the sole of the foot in, then make sure the toes are facing downward. Hands float to the heart center, and then from that floor you lift up. And when you're ready to stabilize, then you grow your tree. So Caroleena, you can take your arms up whenever you're ready. Beautiful. Release. Hands to the heart. Right foot sets. Left foot comes up. So for some people, you know, back in the old Bikram days, they would call the thing that you wear into class, they call it your costume. I don't know. I always thought costumes were for Halloween. For some people, if you have foot on skin or skin on skin contact, it's going to be really hard. Some people mess around with a towel and they put it on the inside of the thigh. Whatever works for you is fine. Just find stability when you're ready to grow your tree. Now don't look now, folks at home, but on Caroleena's left foot, she's got a new tattoo. I'm not sure she's told her mom yet. Right? Okay. Beautiful work. Hands back to the center. Left foot meets the mat. And then Caroleena, step back to the top of the mat. Now we're just going to do a couple of more little sequences here for you, for your yoga pleasure. Let's take the arms up to the sky, big breath in, and go through a flow. I won't even yak. Fold, and then I'll meet you back in dog pose. Beautiful. We're going to do 3 breaths here, and the continuation of our flow begins. Take a nice deep breath in, and empty out. Deep breath in, empty out. 3rd round. Breath in, empty out. Okay, Caroleena, here we go. Take your right leg up. Let's open up the hip, and then flip your dog. Take the foot over, and we're going to move here a little bit. So in 3, I'll have you move to Fallen Star. 3, 2, 1. Right hand to the floor. Take your right leg, you can kick it out. You can place it on the mat or not, up to you. She looks up for Drishti, opening up the chest. 3-legged dog. Caroleena, take the left hand down, right leg sky. Let's move to Warrior 1. Right foot comes forward, left heel spins flat. A couple things I'll point out in your Warrior 1. This left back foot is pointed about a 30 to 45 degree angle, so you're trying to square hips. Over time, the right knee is dipping down, so you can put like a cylindrical object on the knee and it won't roll off. This can be germane to your own ability to open up in the hips. So take a breath in, and then glide open to 2, Warrior 2. And now see if you can get separation between the feet, because our next pose will be triangle. So go ahead and straighten your right leg, and then take your triangle pose. Feel free to use the rectangle of hope. Triangle is such a powerful pose because it starts from the floor, so the feet are pulling in towards one another. So it's like crinkling the mat. So the inner thighs, the abduction starts to pull in. Right hip is going forward, left hip is going back. The thighs are spiraling apart, so they're externally rotated. Even though you might not visually see it, you can activate externally in your body. Hand to the sky. Head is either looking up. If this jams up your neck again, don't do that. Beautiful work. So let's just take root to rise. So Caroleena, take the right toes, push it in. I'll move the block for you. Turn the right toes, facing the camera. Take a big breath in. You can swan dive it down. Taking it down. Hands to the outsides of the feet. You can do fingers to toes. It's up to you. So flattening the spine, all right? A couple things. In at least the power yoga, we like to try to bring the forearms towards the shins. And then you're pulling in, so it's that concept of organizing to center line. If there's any rounding in the spine, you could lift your chin a little bit. But over time, you're actually trying to pull the top of your head underneath your body. Again, it's the abduction is pulling you to center. It's really nice, Caroleena. You can go ahead and release that. And then take runner's lunge. You're going to face forward. Okay, now straighten your right leg and move to pyramid. So step the back foot in, folding over the right. 2 feet. You know, usually the instruction is 2 feet in one line. I like to actually have a little bit of separation in the feet, right? It creates more stability for me. Hips squaring, right hip is pulling up and back, left hip is going down and forward. You notice she has forehead to knee because she does like the Bikram type of series sometimes. That's okay. Forehead to knee, you can bend the knee to get the forehead to the knee, or you can continue to straighten the leg. That's up to you. And then Caroleena will move to the twist. So place the left hand underneath the shoulder or the block. Awesome. Right arm to the sky. So from here, it's heel to the mat. So really plugging in. If you can't get the heel to touch, you can always step the back foot in a little bit. Great work. Caroleena, right hand to the floor. Step to the top of the mat, left to right. Long spine, half lift. In breath. Exhale, chin, chest fold. Root down, rise up to mountain pose. Take the arms up, big breath. Exhale, yogi bow, and we move through a vinyasa. Long spine, half lift. Exhale to chaturanga. Inhale to upward dog. And exhale, down face dog. I'd like you to walk your hands to the back of the mat, and I'm going to arrange your mat. Okay? Okay, there you go. Better? Mm-hmm. Awesome. Sway in the breeze. A little side to side. It's up to you. Maybe even noodle the head around, noodle the neck around. Make sure everything's feeling good. Okay, release. Hands back to the floor. Downward facing dog. Hands to the top. Invert the V. Shoulders integrate. Triads of the fingers. Core in. Drishti between the feet, right? You don't want your eyes looking all over the place. You want to learn to concentrate. Learn to withdraw your sensory. Not trying to bring in more intel into the situation. All right, Caroleena, we're going to get moving now. Let's take the left leg up, bend the knee, stack the hip, flip the dog. Foot steps, hips rise, head dangles, opening up the throat, opening up that chakra there. If you're a person that's been suppressed in your speech in life, maybe opening up the throat is a scary thing. Release, left hand. Fallen star, left foot. Right arm. So hips are pressing up, rolling the rib cage open, shoulder integration, really nice release, three-legged dog. Take the left leg up, and it's first warrior, left foot, top of the mat, spin the heel flat, root rise. Extending up, shoulders are squaring, left shoulder back, left hip back. The SI joint in the low back, I get some tension there, so sometimes warrior one I can feel like a wrenching in the low back. So if you feel that, that could be your SI joint is tender. Okay, really nice. Breathe in and then open up to 2 on the emptying out. Gorgeous work. When you get the feet long enough and apart enough, go ahead, Caroleena, and straighten the left leg and then take triangle pose. If you need a rectangle of hope, there she blows. Arm is up, shoulders integrate. How about we do the modification, my favorite modification, where you cactus the arm, and then you actually roll it into the back bend. So you see how the cactusing in the arm drew the right shoulder back, and there's a pivoting open, there's an opening to the sky. It changes the dynamic of the pose a little bit. And I have no issue with placing as much weight as you want into the left hand. In fact, I actually encourage it, because you're trying to get a little bit of rest here. Floating the fingers up, you're going to have to activate through the torso a little more than I think is necessary. Okay, really nice. Release, take the arms up, okay, all the way up, pivot the left toes. I'll go ahead and move this, okay. Take your arms behind the back, palm to palm grip, take a back bend, lift up, and then bow forward. You're going to take the hands above the head. Okay, you're going to remain here for 3 only. We're not going to stay here long. Palm to palm, 2. So activating through here, flattening the spine, rinsing out the shoulders, and release. Hands to the mat. And right toes pivot. There you are. Left toes pivot, whatever that was, and then into your pyramid pose. Fold. Dropping in, knee to nose to knee. Either feet in one beautiful line or not, totally up to you. And move into the twist. Right hand either on the floor underneath the shoulder, or to the block. So we're going to throw a little bit of a ditty here. So you'll notice triangle from tip of the finger to hip. You'll notice triangle from head to knee. You'll notice triangle where the hand is. You'll notice triangles here with the legs. See if you can walk your hand to the outside of your right leg. Okay, this is going to require lots of scissoring with the legs, pulling in and up, right? And if your feet were placed in one slack line, it's going to be really tough. And release. Go ahead, drop in. And then from here, feel free to step back to down face dog. Emptying out. Okay, Caroleena, from here we're going to transition into some back bends, right? So we went from, some balancing poses. We went to a grounding series, which is what the twisting is. The revolved triangle is also a grounding pose. So now we'll move into a little bit of a back bend, which will energize the nervous system. Let's come to plank, breathe in, and then lower all the way down to the floor. Caroleena, how's your back feel? Do you need a rest or are you good to go?
You're good.
You good to go?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. All right, belly bow pose. Bring the heels in towards the hands. Grab the tops of the feet. And then I'll have you do it on the exhale. So take a deep inhale. And then exhale, kick it up. Kick feet into hands. The thighs lift up. One of the difficult things to do is point the toes towards the back of the head. For some reason, I have lots of difficulty doing. So keep lifting up, but remove as much struggle as you can from the pose. And really nice. You can release, look whatever direction is suitable for you. If you start to breathe into the torso, right, when you breathe into the torso, the diaphragm pushes downward. When the diaphragm pushes downward, the belly fills up. When the belly fills up, the low back stretches, and that's how you release your tension. All right, let's bring it back to the center. How about, do you do the heels deal? Mm-hmm. All right, let's grab the ankles. I'm sorry, not the heels, but the ankles. Soles of the feet are going to point up towards the sky, flexing the toes and knees, and on your exhale, Caroleena, you go. Yogi, kick up. Working to keep the thighs on the floor, the knees on the floor, and pulling yourself up like a cobra snake. A whole different dynamic, whole different world. 3, 2, and relax. Look whatever direction is suitable. Nicely done. Okay, let's bring the chin back to the center. Make your way to child's pose. With the knees wide, you'll get a low back release. Remember, at the starting of the class, we brought the knees in close, which was the wisdom pose that helps to release the shoulders. Okay, how you feeling about a wheel pose or a bridge? Let's do that. Come on to tabletop and then cross your ankles and make your way onto your back. We'll start out with just a bridge because I don't want to overdo it. Okay? Heels should be about hip width. And then when you're ready, start to take the index fingers to the heels. Once the index fingers hit the heels, and then Caroleena, just lift up the thighs. When the thighs lift, the hips shall follow. Then you walk your fingers in a little closer and then together, and you can interlace. And then you start to integrate. So the more that you walk your shoulders in towards the heels, push the feet into the mat and then lift the hips up to the sky. Come up, just a little higher. Alright, release, coming back down. Set the hands alongside the ears, watch your hair. You know I worry about these things. And when you're ready, press it up to wheel pose. Okay? Shoulder integration is everything. Shoulders coming together, wrist flexion is crucial, head drops back. From the feet, you're pressing down and coming up. Knees are coming in. For you folks at home, you can take a block and put them between the knees to help hug into the center. And when you're ready, and release. Coming back down. Once you drop down bone by bone, bring the knees into the chest. And then little circles with the knees back and forth. Good work. Interlace the hands behind your skull. Contract the core, flex the toes towards the feet. And then 10 times. Pulse it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, knees to chest, hug it in, and then grab the backs of the thighs and start to rock and roll back and forth on the spine. Do that 3 or 4 times and make your way through a vinyasa, or skip your vinyasa and go right back to downward facing dog. Awesome. Downward facing dog, core pulls in, heels to the floor, and now we're going to slow it down even more. Take the right leg up and bring yourself into half pigeon. Send the shin forward. We'll spend maybe 30 seconds to 45 seconds here in pigeon pose. So feel free to go longer if you're at home, totally fine. Notice Caroleena went into sleepy pigeon. Space between the right heel and the left hip is going to get you more intense. Back foot. Try not to have it sickle off too much. Left heel in line with the left hip. Okay, hands to the floor. Take your right leg up. Give it a little shake out. It's always good to get some length into the hip socket. Get some flow back into the hips. Okay, when you're ready, take your right foot down and left leg up. Stretch it out. And then send it forward. Half pigeon. Another 30 to 45 seconds. Settle in. Let the breath be free and easy. Options are always to stretch the arms out in front of you. Pick them up on the fingers. But you are looking to dial down the system and make it as relaxed as humanly possible so you can get into a deeper stretch. Really nice. Caroleena, come up on the hands, swing your right foot out in front of you, and send both legs out in front, setting up for your seated forward fold. So you want to have a nice ground, so the sits bones are rooted firmly into the floor, spine is long. Take the arms up, breathe in, activate through the toes, and then fold in, dropping down. Once you get down, grab the feet, consider walking the heels forward, the hips back a little bit, and then just start to relax into a little deeper, more peaceful expression of the pose. And beautiful, release. Make your way onto your back. Coming onto your back. Before we go into Baddha Konasana, why don't we do, bring your right knee in. Let's do wind removing, just hug it in. Make sure you clear the rib cage. Once you get a nice deep compression, just take a twist, sending the right leg across the body. Shoulders remain as parallel to the floor as possible. Notice the right hip is facing up. She's turned her head to the right, so trying to create a 90-degree twist. And then let's move to the other side. So come back up to the center. Feel free to bring both knees into the chest. Once you get the spine feeling like it's neutralized, you send the right leg forward, hug the left knee in. Once you get that good compressive effect, maybe a little pinching sensation, and then you take your supine twist, taking it across and opening up the arms. Okay, let's bring it back to the center, release, knees to chest, squeeze it in. And now we'll just go through these last couple of poses, but I would recommend that you give it more time at home to get that deep and restful, peaceful, long glide slope to the end of the practice. So Baddha Konasana, Supta Baddha Konasana, Caroleena, bring the soles of the feet to touch. Hand to the belly, hand to the heart. So it's a really nice pose. I love to do this pose prior to moving into the final rest. The distance between the heels and the body can change. When you change the distance between the feet and the body, the intensity will either accelerate or decelerate. Final rest, Shavasana. Yay, team! Awesome. So Shavasana, obviously you're just lying on your back. You know, they call it corpse pose, but remember, corpse pose is not because of the position you're lying in. Corpse pose was designed to remind the practitioner that you're trying to remove the ego. It is the death of the ego, removing it from your way of operating. Less egoic and more altruistic. Okay, Caroleena, take the arms above the head, long stretch, fingers to toes, fingers to toes. Bring the knees into the chest, squeeze it. And roll to the side body for a little pause. It feels so good. And now make your way to a comfortable seat. You can face the camera, so with the hands to the heart center, the eyes to close, the chin to dip down. Super grateful for Caroleena for coming into the home today to do a little bit of filming, to film the practice, to reassert our dedication to the practice. So for that, I'm very grateful. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Go ahead and float your eyes open, Caroleena. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.
For you at home, thank you so much. Namaste.